Panda Week, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Except for that awesome KO.
Bryce Mitchell
He got flatlined. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I wanted Bryce to win that too.
Yeah.
But good for 38-year-old. What's his name?
Bryce Mitchell. Oh, Emmett something.
Good for him, man. 38 years old. Flatlined Bryce Mitchell.
Brutal.
Oh my gosh. I wanted Bryce to win. Tough young kid too. Bryce is super tough young kid.
No, and he came out with a video after saying he's okay and everything. He was blaming his game plan on it. He was saying that he was saying that he didn't do his normal plan of like going forward and being aggressive.
I didn't do my normal plan. I usually plan to win.
He made it think it's like, whenever you get into those situations with anything in life, you should go forward and like be the aggressor. Because then, even if you lose, you know you gave everything you had.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough to lose when you're.
But other than that fight, I didn't see much, man. I saw Ferguson. All my picks lost, pretty much. I saw Ferguson.
The Ferguson thing.
Poor guy.
0-7.
That was painful. That was painful to watch, and I don't know. I didn't see a lot after about him, but I did hear he's not retiring. What? Yeah. Please, my friend.
I was hoping he would get a win just to retire on a win, because I think that's what he's looking for. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we see it time and time again with these UFC fighters, and I think they make it so much of their identity that they can't
clearly. Quit. Oh, and that's crystal clear. Yeah, it's a shame. And again, I don't mean to be a Patty hater. I don't. Yeah. But he didn't look impressive to me. I was not amazed with his performance. I was not impressed with his performance.
George St. Pierre.
And that, oh man, that George St. Pierre post you made.
It's like 6,000 likes or something.
Good Lord. Like 300 comments, everybody. That was hilarious. What happened, buddy?
We're live, buddy.
You get pretzels. Oh, pretzels.
Good.
All right. Bomb. That's the one.
Salty pretzels. Awesome. But yeah.
Poor Ferguson.
Poor Ferguson is right. Chris Angel got his MMA purple belt with the black
that's
bar.
his MMA purple belt. Hey, you know, I was gonna say I like Frank Mir so much. I don't want to say nothing bad.
I read it and then I was like,
Frank Mir is a legend. I love Frank Mir. I do, but I don't know. I don't know about the MMA purple. But then again, you know, different. Some, like you were telling me once about how kickboxing studios will have like a system, and belt you in the system, right? So even though there's not a black belt in kickboxing per se, you might be a black belt in this system of kickboxing.
I've even seen some Muay Thai places do it with different colored bands.
There you go. Yeah. So maybe he's got an MMA system that Chris Angel is a purple belt in.
What was interesting to me, it was a jiu-jitsu belt. So instead of going like a pure belt, like one color, or it had the jiu-jitsu bar. Whenever we see the jiu-jitsu bar, it's like very specific.
So it was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple belt that he got, but he got it in MMA.
And the statement that was in that article, I read it, and they were basically saying that they practice striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu, and they're belted in the one system, I believe.
Sounds like MMA.
And so, but they're using the jiu-jitsu belt system.
It's funny, this striking is so vague. It was like, so what kind? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it must just be kickboxing, or they're probably trying to say no, it's MMA striking, right? It's like different. It's its own style. Which, hey, they got an argument.
So should they make a new belt system for MMA?
Should they? Who's they? I don't
know. That's where it comes down to.
Apparently they did. If Frank Mir is in the they.
That's what I was saying. It was like, well, you know, that's the only person ever that has an MMA purple belt, so they're the highest rank. But then who gave it to him?
How come his MMA blue belt didn't make the news?
Right.
I didn't hear about him getting an MMA blue belt. He did that down low.
And then had to have made a statement with it because, I mean, he's a super famous person. You know, Chris Angel's huge.
Yeah. And Frank Mir is a legend in our sport.
Yeah. So it's like a bunch of, was it trying to make a statement, or was this just a, hey, you got one of our system belts?
I have no idea. Yeah, I just look into it. See, I'm one of those guys. I read the post. I don't click on it and read the article. Yeah. So I don't even know. I have to be really into it to read the whole article.
The article kind of went into it and it tried to justify it, but it didn't. It's kind of like our conversation now. It couldn't find a defining factor.
So the article was just somebody trying to figure it out on their own. They weren't asking him. They didn't interview him at all. And
right.
Mr. Mir.
They interviewed Chris Angel. And then that's when...
What did he say?
That's when the whole we do striking wrestling.
Okay, gotcha.
That's when that came up.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was his justification for it.
Okay, all right. Interesting.
If this came out of some random gym and some random instructor that nobody knows, I think our conversation would be vastly different. But because it's coming from Frank Mir, it's like...
That's the thing, yeah.
It's somebody who's super legit is deciding to do something.
Yeah, he can whoop our ass, for sure.
So did you see the Danaher black belt conversation?
No, what was that?
So Lex Friedman asked Danaher what it takes to get a jiu-jitsu black belt. And Danaher not much.
And he is not wrong with the way he explained it. The man is a genius, so he's making a point that you need to not care about that because it's easy to show up to pay your dues and show up to class long enough to get a black belt. All that takes is consistency, right? But the act itself of driving there, walking in the door, doing what your coach tells you to do, and then leaving, and long enough to get a black belt is not a difficult thing. He's absolutely right. How good do you want to be?
Right.
He's 100% right. Good point, Mr. Danaher.
And it's a little shocking when you first hear it because it's like, well, I've been grinding forever to get it, but.
Right. But the truth is the reason why you've been grinding is because you've been doing it right and you're wanting to be good.
Yeah.
Because if you're just wanting the black belt, then yeah, you'll just show up, you'll pay your dues and show up like you said, the bare minimum. But if you want to actually be good, you're going to put in some pain, right? You're going to leave some blood, sweat, and tears out there.
Sure. Look, it's you. Yeah, no, but you know, if you're a black belt and you're like, wait, I spent 15 years getting this, like, it can definitely make you question it. But no, it makes sense. It makes sense. How good do you want to be is all of it, because
it's all of it.
Just like anything in life, there's different
levels.
Yeah, levels to everything. What?
Yeah.
You don't want to do that? Okay, go. Fine. So one of the questions that came through earlier was they were talking about adapting Hapkido and Aikido for self-defense, MMA.
What's the difference of Hapkido and Aikido? I'm not familiar with Hapkido. I've heard of it.
I'm not super familiar with it, but I think they have, it's like Korean karate.
Okay.
Don't go crazy if I got that wrong, but that's the closest thing that I can simulate to it. But Aikido. But Rokas was a very popular guy. Have you heard of Rokas? He was in the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship that they did recently. But he was one of those guys that
hold on. You can't just say that real quick. The Ultimate Self-Defense Championships?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
What the heck is
that? Oh,
it's
fantastic. So they took a lot of YouTubers that are in our field. So like Icy Mike from Hard to Hurt. They took Ramsey Dewey, a couple MMA fighters.
What about that guy from Detroit, Dust?
No, they didn't.
Come on.
They didn't have
Come on, how do they not have him?
They didn't have him. But they all went down to Australia and did like self-defense challenges. And it's fantastic. You should check it out.
Self-defense challenges. I'm very intrigued.
They're working on number 2, but knife fighting defense, and
they didn't have Dust?
No, and then like abandoned warehouses. You got to try to find your way out and get away from people, and
that's cool, man.
Fights on a bus, all kinds of cool stuff.
Okay, I'm interested.
It's super interesting to check out. But Rokas was one of the guys on there, and he documented his journey. Because he was an Aikido guy, and he wanted to adapt Aikido for MMA.
Good for him.
What he kept finding was he just was doing, going into doing MMA. Right. So as soon as the fight would start, he wasn't doing any Aikido.
Right.
When he would train, he would try to adapt it, but nothing was adaptable.
Right.
And so he just scrapped it, took on MMA, and then did some fights, got some wins and stuff. So his philosophy on it is he went through it. He was like a 12-year black belt in Aikido, and he couldn't make it work in MMA. And
well, so he might have been using it a little bit, not knowing, like maybe with grips, because isn't Aikido kind of, there's grips, certain ways you can grab the hand, you can like fold it this way.
So the problem with Aikido is they don't control the body. So like wrist locks and all those things work in jiu-jitsu because you're controlling the body. With Aikido, there's not a whole lot of body control. It's all throwing off of the wrist locks. It's kind of like the straight arm lock that like police use, where they grab and they push, but so they're not controlling the body.
The adapting would be where you just control the body and then do some of the Aikido. Right. Wouldn't that be how you would adapt
What he found was it was just better to learn MMA.
Well, you know, I do a Kimura where I grab the hand, right? And I don't know.
No, there's definitely times,
Right. I don't know anything about Aikido, except for that I know that they do manipulate the hand but like you say, they don't control the body. But I called an Aikido Mora. And I've always called it an Aikido Mora because I'm grabbing the hand and controlling the hand, and I'm folding the hand this way, kind of like I just picture an Aikido guy being like, and folding the hand, right? Obviously, I'm controlling his whole body while I do it, but it's a Kimura with a hand grip, the Aikido Mora. So to me, Aikido works in
wrist locks work. They're definitely legit. And after the technique that we're going to show today is Brett's been working on that crucifix position.
My gi is in.
It's all good. It can go no gi. The technique that we're going to show.
Street clothes.
I'm going to show if you can't get the roll or the sit back, there's a bicep slicer wrist lock combo there. So
I feel a little bit still, a little bit sore. I didn't tap to his.
That was another thing that we were going to talk about.
The wrist was closer than maybe even the slicer, though, man.
So when should somebody? And we were going to bring this up before that, but when should somebody tap? Obviously, you don't want to be that person that taps way too soon and doesn't let the other person enjoy their victory.
The person should tap when it hurts, when the pre-damage, right? Is tap pre-damage happening.
And I feel like most people understand when it comes to chokes, or they understand when it comes to arm bars, but the legs. I've had
same pre-damage.
I've had knee bars locked out. I've had ankles where you're controlling, you're not moving, they're struggling to get out, and all it would take is like a push or a pull to actually force through it, but the other person's not.
Well, for the guy doing it, I mean, for the guy getting it, like I said, pre-damage. But for the person doing it, it's a great test of how much control you have over your weapon. And that's really 100% what it comes down to.
I typically end up just letting go.
No, I do not ever. Okay. I do not ever. Because that person won't let themselves get broken. Right. They won't. And if you have clear, like let's just say hypothetically straight arm bar, right? They're on their back, it's deep, it's hyperextended. They're not going to let their arm break. Yeah. So if you slowly lift your hips, even if it's like shocking and oh my gosh, I can't believe how... And keep going, they're going to tap. I just do it till they tap. I've had lots of guys do that. I remember watching a dude who was kind of new when we were drilling Kimuras. He was trying to impress the partner of how far back he can go. And even the group next to him was like, oh my God, look how flexible. And we sparred later, and I finished Kimura over and over and over. And he'd let it go really far. And he was surprisingly flexible, but they won't let it go till it blows out, right? They won't do that. So you just finish it with control. Now, the scary stuff is when you have something like a heel hook and you don't want them to roll the wrong way. So if you have great control, you'll see them about to roll the wrong way and let go. Yeah. Right? There is a time. Yeah.
If you're in a position and the heel hook is there and you grab it, should they tap or should we roll through and continue on it? Because I play like catch and release with those.
With heel hooks?
Yeah, when they're...
If they're going to roll the wrong way, I'll let go. But I'm not letting go of anything. Okay. If I feel like I can control it and finish it with control, I'm not letting go of anything. Right. Heel hook, because like I said, they will tap. If you can finish it with ultimate cosmic control, they'll tap before the damage happens.
Right. Yeah, it's usually the legs or the ankles that I get to a point and I'm like, I'm pushing on this thing and they're not tapping, and I
keep pushing a little more.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like little pops and things going on, and I'm like, oh,
you can push a little more.
Don't
because usually, I mean, if they're not gonna not tap as it's popping. I mean, they're probably right. I have had guys. I've popped people's joints accidentally. Right, that's happened plenty of times, and there's really only one time that I injured a person and it was my fault and I owe them a huge apology. That was only one time. And what happened was I was competitive and I looked up at the clock and there was 3 seconds left. And I had a really deep slicer, like a knee slicer. And I just went to kind of finish it a little bit too quick. And popped his knee out. But there's been plenty of times where, a person does let it go just a little bit too far and it pops or whatnot. But hey man, that's life lessons being learned. You have to learn, and some people like to learn the hard way. So if it pops, it pops. But as long as it's not on you, as long as it only popped because they let it go a little too far and it was controlled. I've had that happen too. And it's important to finish the submission though, to me, because it's a lesson for this person, especially a newer person who is maybe being silly and doing something that they're going to laugh at themselves in a year, in hindsight. Finish it.
No, it makes sense. Let's see. Is Sambo
What's he going? What do we got?
If Sambo were easy, it'd be called Jiu-Jitsu. That's another
Hey, Sambo's a beast sport, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a blend of a lot of different things.
It's MMA.
I was gonna say it's basically MMA.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little shorts.
I don't know any jiu-jitsu person that would say Sambo sucks.
No.
But there are Sambo people who would say jiu-jitsu sucks.
Right.
It's interesting that way.
Right. Sambo's.
It's going crazy. What else? What other questions do you guys got going on? Another one that popped up was I posted that when you go to jiu-jitsu class, it gives your wife opportunity to clean. And there was both sides of this popped up. So you have kind of an interesting scenario because your wife is also a brown belt and trains and everything.
She trains with me.
But my wife had commented pretty quickly on that. Yes, it's fantastic. He gets out of the house. I don't have to worry about moving him around, walking through the floor that she just mopped and all that. But other ones were like, I'd be killed. I'd be shot. She'd kick me out.
I mean, you could replace clean with reading, right, or something. Like my wife loves to read, so if she does to him, I could see her reading a book, right? But obviously that wouldn't get the.
People were saying, my wife catches up on TV, and
for sure, man.
But there were the hilarious ones with my wife would beat me up,
right?
But let's get into that. What is it like having a high level wife?
It's good training, man. Yeah, that's about what it comes down to, and the scenario too, where we're not just training partners at a gym, right? Because you see that sometimes. The scenario where I've been a coach the whole time has worked out just beautifully. We've never had any problem with it rolling over, right? Where it's I'm acting coachish at home. Or being husbandy.
I didn't even think of that
at the gym, right? Or, it's never happened. Same with the parenting though. It doesn't roll over with my kids. When I'm coach, and when I'm dad or husband, I'm dad or husband. So, but it's great though. It's amazing training. Like I said, no joke. There's plenty of times, especially during the pandemic. Man, during the pandemic, me and Rose were primary training partners. But not a lot of people were training. We still got training in. Definitely. It's awesome.
When so there's a big issue when people first start training jiu-jitsu, they want to go home and practice things on their spouse.
Right?
Did you have that issue? At home, is she like, no, get off me?
Sometimes, if she's not into it, she'll say that to me at the gym too, get off me. But we do constantly, we'll see something and try it on each other. All the time. Awesome. Yeah, no, it's I've heard a lot of stories though from wives, at a Christmas party I'll meet a wife and she'll be like, okay, so he's always grabbing me and trying to do something. He said he needs to troubleshoot.
what was this? I'm doing this.
Right.
And they're just like, all right, no, like, okay, I don't want to fall.
Right. That's funny.
Let's hear your guys' questions. Let's get to those. I know there was a couple people that were going to make today's. I think Rosie's watching, right? Let's get... She
might be at the store. She was running errands.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have questions... Oh, here we go. Akira or Aoki locks should be treated as straight ankle locks or twisting heel hooks as it puts some pressure on the knee. That was a question. You are attacking the ankle and not the knee after all. See it considered different at different comps. Yeah, so...
Aoki lock. I got to Google it. Let me look at that one.
Yeah, take a look.
Is that a good one? You like that one?
It's. I believe it's a cross that happens. Let's take a look at it. But no. But one of his points that he's making is it should be treated as a straight ankle lock. So like in IBJJF and stuff, you can do straight ankle locks because it's isolating the ankle itself and not the knee.
How do you spell Aoki?
A-O-K-I lock.
Oh, my broken phone might not be able to do it. Yeah, because I got half my screen broken here.
Oh no.
And yeah, there's no way because my A doesn't work on my screen. Well, Aoki lock. I'm not familiar.
I've heard of it. I'm not.
Totally.
I believe there's a crossover to it.
Is it? Did Musumeci submit him with that? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I had heard that Musumeci submitted a legend with the move that the legend was known for. So Aoki. Okay, here we go.
Modified.
And what is the question? He wants to know if it should be treated.
Should it be treated like a straight ankle lock? So like.
I see. I see. And what is the rule right now? They treat it like a toe hold or like a.
The way that he phrased it is it's attacking, like they're acting like it attacks the knee itself.
Okay. That one didn't look like it attacked the knee.
That wasn't a very good video. Oh, here we go.
I would imagine if there's twisting involved, right? Then they're gonna say it's potentially ACL.
The great Stefan Kessler. Yeah, let's see.
Oh, here we go. How to do it. This guy's gonna show us. Straight ankle looks like so far.
Yeah, it's all.
That's just a straight ankle up.
Mm-hmm. So the roll under.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
So there's the heel exposure.
That's where it becomes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that does attack the knee.
That absolutely attacks the knee.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the whole heel pops out like that.
Yeah.
That is essentially an inside heel hook.
Yeah. Once that ankle is there. And actually with all of the lasso that we've been playing.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're going to say. Absolutely.
That pops up a lot. So that Aoki lock is right there.
100%. And that is absolutely attacking the knee.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's 100% on the knee. There's no straight ankle on that.
Gives me chills. Yep, I say that can't be treated as a regular straight ankle.
The only difference is it's not on the other side of the body.
Right.
That's really, so he's attacking it with the same side arm rather than the cross arm. But that's about it. Yeah, no,
that would scare the life out of me. That was
that hits the knee. And if you are playing lasso, watch out for that, especially like shallow lasso. We got puts outside pressure on the knee, like an inside heel hook. Exactly, yeah. Is there any time the foot comes close to your hip? Would they?
If there's any, it's there. Spilled shit.
Yeah. So if it's on, you really wanted to get it higher up into like your armpit area. Whenever
the way he had it right there, I mean. Yeah, man. What you keeping the toes, the heels free?
It is on the hip.
Goodness, Lord, yeah.
But it's like in between. Yeah,
that is essentially. That is a
heel hook. Yeah, no, that's heel hook.
It's not a heel hook. It's but it's a
heel
hook. But that is the same damage. That is equivalent damage.
So I would say that's closer to a heel hook than it is a straight ankle lock. Way closer.
I would absolutely agree.
Yeah. So I do believe that would be considered like it's not reaping because it's not across the belly line, right? But it is attacking the knee. It should be considered a heel hook.
In that category.
Yeah. It's everywhere. Yeah, no. When people start bringing their foot up in there yet.
Yeah, that's a popular technique right now. It's everywhere, he says.
Like,
It's everywhere. I believe it, man. That they get trending techniques.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah.
One move will pop up and then boom, everyone's
Well,
doing
the thing is it's hard to submit these high-level guys.
Yeah.
So when we find out that a technique accomplishes that, we all want to learn that one.
Right.
Right?
That's where all the... Well, and then you get Instagram Jiu-Jitsu. That's not... So the way that I explain some of this Instagram Jiu-Jitsu, some of it's legit, but some of it would be your, like, sixth option.
Well, and also that's a very umbrella term because it's too vague because Dubious Dom is the king of IG with Jiu-Jitsu. So if you were to, no joke, just teach in your class whatever he posts every week, you have an awesome team full of freaks. The guy is amazing. So
what I mean by Instagram Jiu-Jitsu is there's legit techniques on Instagram, yes, but a lot of it is the basic stuff doesn't get views. And so Instagram Jiu-Jitsu is like the fancy stuff.
Yeah, catchy.
The rolling things, the moving things.
Cool stuff. Yeah.
And moves that you could definitely do, but there's 6 fundamental moves that you should probably be trying for.
100%. Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah.
Why roll through and do all this?
I remember back when
right there.
I went through a phase of really caring about IG and stuff and posting stuff regularly. And I used to always post the crazy fancy stuff, stuff that I never even hit this sparring, right? Or sequences that are cool and long. Those are the ones that catch your eye and you want to watch them.
Yeah. So we will wrap it up there. Make sure that you guys follow, like, hit all the buttons. We are going to bring you that bicep slicer and the wrist lock. If you fail going for...
Are we going to do it off the pass? Like
yeah,
let's do that.
So what is
that's how you hit it. That's as they pass, you have the last...
Oh, no. This one's going to be off of like what Brett was teaching with the crucifix.
Oh, okay.
So being a smaller guy and stuff, getting that roll starts popping out. So a lot of times they'll use that arm to drag you back, right, as you're trying to roll, but it starts to extend and then you can start getting that kicked out. But we'll look.
I do feel a little bruise right there.
I was wondering what you were.
Well, because I knew, because you know how you're supposed to tap pre-damage. Right. That was how I said it. Yeah. I felt like it was gonna hurt really bad, right? And I can't tell it's just gonna hurt. I have to feel potential damage,
right?
And I know that there's going to be a prerequisite of like really sharp shooting pain before the damage, right before the damage. So if I get to there, I'll tap. But it hurt really bad.
I'll take it.
And the wrist locks was scary.
I'll take it. I'll take that.